Crafted comedy by Great Wolf.
It's the talk of people in the know. Welcome to the G-Block Show.
This is part 4 of a 4-part series. Very Sulty joins the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, the G-Block Show.
So the next morning comes, and it's the same thing, repeat, what we'd been through the first day. But this time, our drill instructor has lost his voice. He has lost his voice, and so he is what they call hoarse. I don't think that's just a military term, but it's funny when you think about it. What a thing to call somebody when they can't talk anymore. So he is really just like, hey guys, and he's always got a couple guys with him, like enforcers, but they don't ever say anything. He's the man, he does the talking and stuff. And so anyways, he comes in and he says, if you guys want, because the way it's supposed to be, we can get another drill instructor for you, because obviously I can't do what is the main thing we all expect out of a drill instructor is to be able to yell. He's like, I can't do that. This is really amazing to me. It's asking a lot of you guys to have to be extra attentive to what I am saying and pay extra close attention. And since that is the case, you can request another drill instructor at this point, and I would just fall out completely. I'll just, have to go back to my regular duties, because these guys I don't know, I think they find something else for them to do, because it's like a voluntary thing, by the way, this drill instructor. You don't sign up like to be a drill instructor like a pilot in the Air Force. It's like, it's extracurricular somehow. Anyway, and especially with the high divorce rate and stuff, I think they like to keep people, they don't want to have somebody be like a career drill instructor. I don't understand all that. That's beyond me. But so anyway, he was saying, you guys have the right to have another drill instructor assigned to you, because obviously it's putting an extra burden on you to have to put up with a drill instructor who can't yell. I can't. So it's totally shifted the dynamic that would normally be there between new recruits and drill instructor, because now he's kind of like at our mercy. It's like it's a real level playing field, and we're all group wise, as the whole flight was. There was definitely like an empathy for this guy. Like, no, man, no, we'll work with you. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm loving it, because it's like, geez, to have a drill instructor who can't yell at you, to me, that's a get. That's at least somebody's prayers were answered. And so anyway, this is just too much, because as you can imagine, it's just, there's no such thing as a drill instructor that doesn't yell. They just don't exist, like a unicorn, But we had one. I had one in my flight. My drill instructor could not yell. And so we're out and we're going, and when we march, when we're going everywhere that we have to go, there's the drill instructor off to the side, and you see these just everywhere you go. You see it's just people marching, these groups, these formations of airmen. And finally, we get to see the girls too. By the way, it was like, wow, they don't they don't look like they did. Anyway, I won't go there. But so we're passing these other flights, and as we can see them, they're passing us, and our drill instructor is essentially just like, and they got this is how it normally is. I'm going to pull the mic back a little bit, but it's like left, right, left, right, left, like that. That's how it is. But anyways, our guy's like, and even that, it was, I just can't duplicate it. It was just barely there. So it is like people are seeing like a mirage. It's like their senses are being tricked. It's like all these flights, you just hear these drill sergeants just yelling it out, That's what they do. But our flight, is silent pretty much. You just, and especially when the other flights, loud enough that it's just like, I'm sure that got to be to me thinking, what in the world are those other soldiers? What are they thinking as they're passing by our silent flight? If you will. We really did go the extra mile to be as close and attentive to him, everything he did, as possible. And so it was a unique bonding where we kind of became his crutch. I don't say we did. We became his crutch of sorts. And I think anybody listening to this can figure out what I'm saying there. And so we really formed a bond with this drill instructor very quickly, and he with us, I think, much more so than is typical in a typical situation, because normally it's sort of like master and dog, and all of a sudden it was sort of like he wasn't quite as much master and we weren't quite as much dog, if follow that. So anyway, that's a thing, and that stayed with us. He didn't get his voice back. It was a couple weeks at least before he started, and even then he was really tapered it down, so he wasn't going to lose his voice again. He had to really baby it almost through the entire time we were together. And of course, you get to a certain point, they're not yelling at you. The yelling it's less yelling as time goes on. That's the whole idea. All of a sudden you're getting 3 minutes to eat, 4 minutes to eat, 5 minutes to eat. You're getting more sleep. Everything just gets better and better every day. That's the whole way they've got it set up, so that by the time you get to even 3 and 4 weeks in basic training, you feel like you're on top of the world. You look back and, I remember when we only had 30 seconds to eat dinner, and I remember when, they just yelled at me constantly, and now it just gets less and less to by the time you're done your 6 weeks, it's just like you've just eased into this whole other human being that they've transformed you into during their basic training. So that's the whole idea, is to break you down and rebuild you their way as quickly and as effectively and efficiently as possible. And so anyway, the only one other thing kind of comes to mind with this that stands out. Everything else it's just regular routine stuff. Oh, we went to class, we marched, that sort of thing. So the only other thing that really stands out, aside from little things like when you're done using the toilet paper, when you go to the bathroom, you have to actually do a little fold on the toilet paper. Again, that's kind of to the detail. You just figure everything that we do, even doo-doo, has to be done in a certain way. So you got to clean your shaving cream. You can't think no foam. Everything is just meticulously done and detail. So anyways, this last part I would just say that stands out. And, a lot of people probably anybody that's been in boot camp, a lot of people listening, this is just going to be refreshing memories. And if you've never been there, you don't necessarily know this, I guess, unless you watch some of these like Full Metal Jacket and stuff. But even on those shows, they're not really showing you sometimes some of the more minor things that, wouldn't necessarily be for the story. But our training instructor, who always came as like the drill instructor, he would be for us for doing certain things, and then the more basic stuff, I guess. And then the training instructor, the TI, he was there more for training. And sometimes this kind of was why I wonder why he did this and the other guy didn't. It didn't make sense. Like, there's certain ways when, to march, about phase, the steps you have to take, the moves you make. Our training instructor was working with us on that. So he took us up to our dorm, and in order to get into the dorm, there's, like I said, it's like a prison to the nines with a big still door and a little window. And so he goes up to it and doesn't even tell us what he's about to do. We just assume he's just going to go up there and show his ID through the window, and the dorm guard is going to let him in. So he wants to make a point of this, is that how important it is that these dorm guards are like super important because you never know when the Russians could come over and they could try to infiltrate. You do not let people into anything unless you know for a fact that they have authorization. That's like really serious stuff. Best offense is a good defense. And so anyway, he goes up and he pounds on this door, just like, thunder. Boom, boom, boom. And so the dorm guard comes to the door and he says, "Sir, let me see your ID, sir," like that. So the TI says, "You know who I am, and you don't open this damn door. I'm going to, when I get on there," he just let him have it. Just open the door, guy. And so the dorm guard says, "No, sir, no, not without ID. You got to show me your ID." The TI just does it again, this time even more. Boom, 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 just pounding on the door. And I'm just thinking like, man, this guy, it's like, just dorm guard, you better just open that door if you know what's good for you, man. And, believe me, I already know how upset he gets when somebody just wants to get some water. And so the dorm guard says again, just no. So this goes on, repeatedly. He just gets, the training instructor, the TI just gets madder and madder. Like, man, when I'm through with you, it's like, oh, geez. We're all just starting to kind of, it's like getting freaky. Even though there's no way he can do it, it just seems like any second he's going to just pound through that door. So finally, he does this quick little flush with his badge. Like, just like a quick, like, there. See, yeah, there, you've seen it. I've showed you. And the dorm guard says, "I'm sorry, sir, but you're going to have to leave it longer so I can identify that it's you." And then, so finally, the training instructor does what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to put his ID up there for a certain amount of time, and then the dorm guard opens the door. So the dorm guard did exactly what he was supposed to do. That was just another one of those where, had it been, I believe, any number of other training instructors, I don't think it would have been as impactful. I mean, our particular training instructor was just, and again, I don't want people to get me wrong. It wasn't like he was like Hercules. He wasn't like, there was just something about him that if he wanted to, it just looked like he could just penetrate through a stone wall if he had a mind to. He just looked like the most formidable person. And I'm thinking to myself, if there's other guys in the Air Force like this, seriously, I'm just going to let the enemies know, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. That's my basic training. The next thing you know, you graduate, and the next thing you know, you go off to your school where you get trained, and everything there is just basically, it's just like a job. There's more formality and stuff in it, and you have to have your shoes shine just right. Just everything's like, again, everything there is just a different level, a higher level. Attention to detail never ever ends. One little mistake can cost several lives. So there's no such thing as flaky. It's just not. But you get to do a lot of wonderful things, and you get to meet a lot of nice people. It's always changing. You're meeting people all the time, saying hello, saying goodbye. You're never ever with anybody, it seems, for any real length of time. Anybody's thinking about ever joining the military, that's one thing you got to kind of figure. You sure might have your buddies. You just do the weekend stuff, the National Guard and stuff. That's a little different. But when you're regular military, you're constantly, it's reassignment heaven. If you like that sort of thing, you love regular military, and if you don't, that can definitely be a drawback. And so, anyways, that's where I got to be a pilot. Once I got to be a pilot, I really enjoyed flying. By the way, it's just like you said, you can't. It's just like nothing under the sun as cool and fun is getting to fly these Air Force jets. It just is amazing. You're moving the speed of sound, and you've got precision control of things. It's just indescribable how damn cool it is. You can't believe you actually are getting paid to do this. As you know, you're serving your country, if that isn't already payment enough, but to actually think that you're actually, making a living doing something that it just is, there's nothing else like it. And the freedom that you feel when you're flying these awesome machines. And then after that, I went and became a pilot, flew commercially, and just it just paved the way for me to just have a terrific life. I just can't say enough how I just feel so fortunate for that. I just wanted to say I just can't leave this segment. I just have to say that. And then, of course, I retired from being a commercial airline pilot. And now I do this podcast. And so now as Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story. So there you have it. There's my basic training experience. I really love to share because I myself, like I said, none of these movies were out at the time. And if you don't know what it's like to be in basic training, that gives you some sense of it. And of course, little special little bit there with our drill instructor. Well, for all I know, that's never happened before. We may have been the only flight to ever have that situation. The unicorn drill instructor. Just remarkable in my opinion.
Boy, howdy, Sulty. That is one hell of a story. I thought that was really good. I would have never known that about the thing about the food and having to wait like that. All of it sounds terrible. But like you said, they're breaking you down to build you up, get you out the door, getting you on your way to being a good, productive member of the armed forces. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was a hoot from start to finish. Yep, it was. And like I've said many times, everybody should go to boot camp at least once. It's quite an experience. It really is. It really does transform you for the better. Of course, you're young when you go in, so you kind of go, it really is like a boys to men situation that happens, almost seems like overnight. And you look around, and I remember being there the first like 3 or 4 days, and I would see guys that they've been there for like a month, or because 6 weeks is all it is for the whole training. At least it was back then. And so I'm looking at it, and I was like, there's something very different about just even 4 weeks after they first came in. It really is remarkable. And I also think, just from a standpoint, I think our nation would be a lot better off if we did have a boot camp. I don't think it would hurt at all for everybody to be in the military to serve a year. I know Germany's like 2 years, and I'm not saying, I don't even know if 2 years is necessary, but I think 1 year, go through the boot camp, and then 1 year at some capacity for everybody would really serve us well. And I don't think we would end up with all this silliness with these guys wanting to play, these I kind of call them cosplay soldier guys. They're trying to want to overthrow the government, or all these guys that want to play soldier, but they really don't want the discipline that comes with it. You know what I'm talking about? There's just all these white supremacy groups and stuff. I do think it would really help. Maybe would be the most single important thing that we could do to head off the disaster that appears to be before us from the enemy. I'm just gonna say it, from the enemy within, and that is these neo-Nazi, all these little, just got nothing but apparently time on their hands, and they want to go all quasi-military. I think if they actually had to really go through the military, I think our country would be a lot safer. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let's end today's show. And just remember, always just as simple as can be, just go out, be kind to one another, and love one another, as much as possible. Now, we'll catch you back here next time on the G-Block Show.
You've been enjoying another episode of the G-Block Show. We're glad you're here. Please help us to continue bringing you more crafted comedy videos by simply clicking the thumbs up icon and by subscribing to our channel. And hit that bell to receive notifications each time we post a new video. We really appreciate your support, because all we do for you. Thank you.